Alright, alright. So let me see if I can get myself showing up in the screen. Okay. Standard one. Alright, hi there. Mibaka here again. With another Python series in this Codanite conference. Unfortunately, we had some issues with the broadcasting software, and we were unable to give out the part one, but it will be re-uploaded subsequently for our consumption. Alright, so today we'll be talking about frameworks in Python. Precisely, we'll be dwelling upon Django. Django is a very interesting web development tool for building application. So I really love this quote right here. The web framework for perfectionists with deadlines. I remember one time I had one job with some friends in Pakistan. Alright, so this offer was for me to build an app that helps send emails, and within a short period of time that app was developed. If it were to be with other languages, not that I'm dissing or anything like that, but it would take much more than the amount of time I spared to build the application. So if you're a beginner in web development, I recommend that you give Python a shot. It's really worth it. It's really worth it, and you could get the best out of it. So moving on. Come on. Right, I hope I didn't miss a slide. Okay, so what is Django? So let's get into it. Okay, alright. So Django is a high-level Python web framework that encourages rapid development and clean parametric design, and built by experienced developer to take care of much of the hassle of web development. So you can focus on writing your application without needing to reinvent the wheel. It's free and it is open source. So that's it. You don't need to do a lot of stuff. I remember one time I had to modify a PHP script for someone. That was like 2 years ago. It was really challenging for me at that time, because I was new to PHP. I had to do a lot of stuffs to be able to get the stuff up and running. But as of the time I got used to coding with Python and I got into the Django side of things, it was really easy. It was very easy to work with. So these are the requirements you would need to get Python up and running. You need pip to be installed in your computer. To do that, you need a terminal. I'm just gonna fire up one real quick. You need to check if it's installed in your computer. Alright. Okay. So you're just gonna use this command pip capital letter. For me, I have several versions of Python, so I'm just gonna put 3 there. Just use pip capital letter. I need to increase that up. See that right here? So I have 12.3.1. I think I have 3.8. I think I don't even have a version. That is basically what it is. Use this like a command line to check that. For Windows, that should be command prompt. For Linux, that should also be terminal, as the case may be. Alright, moving on. So with pip installed, you can get Django up and running. That will be in the next slide. So these are case studies, application that have been written in Django. We have Pinterest, we have, sorry, alright, so we have Pinterest, we have Instagram, we have Spotify, we have Dropbox, we have Perzi, I think that's Perzi, and we have YouTube, which you're watching from. So you're watching from a blueprint of Django itself. So these are the features. It's ridiculously fast. Development is really fast compared to other languages as of now. We have reassuringly secured. One time I had someone reach out to me and told me to review his website. He wrote it in PHP. Not that I'm dishing or anything like that, but as of when I tried, to test it, I discovered that it had so many security vulnerabilities. So like YouTube, you can't put the ankle braces because of cross-site cause forgery. So I discovered I had that issue with PHP. So it has in very secured mechanism in place, so that it takes away those low-level abstraction, lets you code straight away. Exceedingly scalable. So most applications that were built in the past do not have a very good scalability factor, but with Python, Django, you can put machine learning applications inside and get it up and running. Alright, so this is the framework structure for Django. First, whenever the user is trying to interface with Django, since it's a web framework, it has to go to the URL, from there to the views, then to the model or the template. So the views is a Python file, which we're gonna cover in a bit. The URL rather is a Python file. The views also is a Python file. The model itself is a Python file, and the template is kind of a Python file. A templating engine known as is Ginger. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. So that is what lets you make Python coding style inside HTML. So working with HTML in a bit, you may not need to have a trillion experience with that, but we're gonna work with a lot of extensions to take away the ugliness of our app and make it somewhat presentable. So this is the framework structure of Django. Then I'm going to talk about the internals when it comes to developing an application. I took this example from possibly Facebook since I've been using that. Let's hold that thought. So in Django, you need to create a project. You need to have a project in Django, and in the project you need to have several applications. So this ones in blues are the applications. Then they are tied to the Python project itself. So an application can be let's say accounts, where you can change password, update profile, as the case may be. Anything related to accounts can be an app on its own. Then for posts, maybe for posting videos, posting what's it called, videos, editing files, as the case may be, you can affiliate that with posts. Then for recommendation, so you come to the app and all of a sudden you're getting videos you like. It is possibly because of a subsection. So if you want to do something like that in Django, I recommend you split them into applications, and we're gonna get into that in a bit. Next up is installation. So I'm gonna open VS Code in a new window. So while that is up and running, I'm gonna walk you down alright, so let's Let's take this out for more focusing. Alright, just before that, so just before that, you're gonna need to have pip installed, like I said previously. Then you install Django using this command up here. So comments comments if you're having any challenge with installation. I'll be really happy to help you out. And let me know also in the chat if there's any other challenge that you're facing at the moment. Alright, so I have Python installed in my computer. You should, else it's not gonna work. I have to make a new working environment, so I'm just gonna do it this way. So I will go to my Codanite folder in documents, and talking about Python, create a new folder known as the Django come on, Codanite. Alright, so create that folder and open it up in VS Code. Needing tab. Alright, close the tab. Alright, since we have our folders up and running, this is where we are gonna be installing our packages. Come to new terminal, wait for that to open up. Okay, full screen. Alright, so we need to get Django installed. That's the first command. So we do pip. I have several versions of Python, but I'm going to specify 3 on my PC. For if you have no other version of Python installed, there's no need to put in the 3. Install the Django. So it's going to get that via the internet. Okay, since I already have that installed, I'm already getting this right here. For me to create a Django project, this is the command line. You have to go the Django -admin, and you do start project space, then the name of the project that you want to create. In my case, I'm gonna call it my project. So I believe that when you want to make an application, you have to make sure that the project reflects the project naming convention. You know, it's held into high esteem because it has to reflect on the application that you're creating. Do that. Oops, I need to take that out. Sorry. So you need to make sure that you have a dot at the end. I need to remove that. So that's how I write my okay. So I'm gonna have to clear my screen so you won't get confused. Alright, so when you type the name of the project, you put a dot. I've been doing that for a while, so I prefer that because the structuring of the application will be different when you have that dot. The manage.py file will be outside, and you won't have to go into the project file to run the app. It will make sense in the Jeffrey. Okay, so now that's it. You have your project up and running. For you to see it in the browser if it is installed, you have to run the following command: Python. Like I said, I have several versions of Python, so I have to specify 3, but in your case you don't have to. Python manage.py run server. Alright. Alright. Press enter. So as you see here, this is the file that is executed. So it comes with a lot of codes that we didn't put in ourselves to help you get the file up and running. Okay, so let's move quickly. So to see this in the browser, I am going to open up my browser. In my case, Firefox, and head to this URL right here. So I'm going to copy that, select copy, paste it in, and wow, so you see application is working. So I'm just gonna move this over to the side. Okay, alright, cool. So this is our Django application. If I refresh it, you're gonna see we have some stuffs already in the terminal about the application. Some of this might be confusing to you, but stay with me. I'll try my best to be as beginner friendly as possible so the concept could get in. Okay, so we need to make some changes because our application can be this. So to get that working, I'm gonna stop the server and do some other things. Now, like I said in the presentation, we need an app to take care of, several subsections of the website. And to get the app running, you just need Python. Oops, not Python. We need the Django Admin, and we go. Is it create or start? So let's try create. Let's go create app, and we'll call it whatever name that reflects. So if you want to do for account is fine. If you want to do for profile, it's fine. If you want to do for editing images, as the case may be, but make sure that all the codes inside, or the models will relate to that app that you are about to create. So I'm just going to call this myapp just for simplicity. Okay, so I get this startapp. Okay, startapp works fine. So it's startapp. Okay, so here is what app looks like. It comes with a lot of Python files in it, admin, apps, models, test, views. So like I said in the slide, the view is the second part of the application, and we have the URL, which I'm gonna show you in the project file. It's right here, URL. So it comes with a lot of codes to aid your development. So for class-based views, use this. For function-based views, use this. So my function-based use guy. So this is what I'll use. Alright, so we need to change this URL so that it could be custom related to the application that we want to build. So this is what you're gonna do. You're going to create a path. You're gonna create a path, and you're gonna make sure that it points to the home directory, which is here. So there is not gonna be a fault. Like if I go to admin, like /. Okay, I need to make sure my server is running. Come on server. So I need to make sure my server is running. So and if I come here and go admin, press enter, and bam, you see this is what Django Admin looks like. So you see all the static files, CSS, HTML, and JavaScript have responsive.this. So they all show up because we navigated to this URL. Like I said, it goes from URL to the views, then either to the templating. So what you're seeing now is via the template. So it comes back, and I think I should just go back to that slide. Come on. I think I should just. So this is what happens. So when I put admin, it had to go to Django via the URL and to views, fetch the template, and brought it back. So if I have something like a database, it will be affiliated with the models, and it has to go through this way here and back. Alright, so let's keep coding. Browser. Alright, so what I want to do is, I don't want it to go to admin, I want it to go to the home URL, and these are the steps that you are going to take to achieve that. First we need to import a function known as include. Alright, so this is what we're gonna do. We are going to import it as, we're going to put it as an argument inside here, and we are going to refer to a file that doesn't exist yet but will be. Alright, so since we have URL, we should also have URLs in myapp, because I'm gonna point to it from the project URL, and this is what I'll do. So I'm gonna call it as a string, so I'll treat it like one. So myapp.url, so that's it. So you need to have that file. That file needs to exist. So I'm just gonna copy this and paste it inside here. I'm gonna take out Django Admin, take out this comment. I need admin, I need that. URL.path. I don't need include. Come on, I don't need include. Okay, so I'm gonna wipe this all out, and this is the part where I will make reference to the view. Okay, so I just want to create alright, so we're done here. So now over to this So all we need right now is to make sure that our view is showing up here. So I need to create our view file first, and this is how it's done. So I'm going to use function, just going to call this home, and in brackets I'll pass in an argument of requests. Pass an argument of request and press enter. So I'm just gonna return a function known as render. And render takes several arguments. One of them is the request, the other is a link to our HTML file, which is the templating. So I'm just going to put index.html. It does not exist at the moment. For now, I can save this, and I hope my app doesn't crash. Okay, so this is where I import this home file that I just created. So I'm gonna go full screen. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna go full screen. Sorry, put this back. Alright, so I need to create this HTML file, and I'm going to do this outside the entire application. So this is what I'll do. I have to put it inside a folder known as templates with an S. Okay, now inside here I need to create a HTML file. So I come here, click this new file, and call it index.html. Alright, fine. For now, nothing is inside, but if you hold shift and press 1, you're gonna get the boilerplate code. Save that, and now we need to import that views inside the URL. So this is what you do. You say from dash is it models or so? Is it models or so? So you're importing the views, so you go from dot import views. That should work fine. So you go from views dot home. So that's what you want to import right now. So hit save, and that should be fine. So over here you hit save, your app should refresh. Then let's go back here, and if I refresh, I'm going to have an error that index.html does not exist. Now this is what you do to fix this problem. Django 3.2 comes with this challenge. You need to go to your settings.py file, scroll all the way down to directories, because it's not recognizing this file as a directory, so you need to set it here in this array. That's a list with a dictionary. So this is what you do. You refer to this variable created up top known as base directory. Alright, base dir. So you go so you go base dir. So we're using the path syntax, so you put a / and in quotes you type the word templates, since that's the folder and you put a comma, because to some extent it's treating it like a list. So click refresh on your browser. Fingers crossed the magic will happen. Alright, so everything works fine. So this is your HTML file where you can make all your modification. So as you can see now, we have documents showing up, so I can just come here and change this to my site, save this and refresh, and everything should be fresh. Alright, the math doesn't lie, so we have my site showing up. So whatever you want to do that will show up here, you need to make sure that you put it inside the body tag. So there are several tags in HTML, but one that is the boldest is the H1 tag. So VS Code, press H1, press enter, and I type in whatever I want to type. Say my first app, save that, refresh, and you have that. And you go H2, another smaller tag, somebody call my mom, save that, and click the refresh button, and you should have the Exodex coming. Alright, so we have this up and running. Now, how do we get data from the server, which is this part, the views? How do we get data that will be sent over here? Well, for you to do that, you need to acknowledge the what's it called, the Django templating engine. Alright, so that's Jinjin. It has its way of rendering Python files inside, and close that. It has its way of rendering Python files inside HTML, and those principles has to be respected for you to get it up and running. So I will create a variable from a data type of a dictionary. So the whole world loves to use context, and I will do so. So I could just come and change name, give it the word name, and make sure this is not JavaScript, make sure it's in quotes. Then you could put your name and make sure it's in quotes because it's a string. Now for this to be passed down to this HTML file, you have to pass it as an argument inside the render function. So you do this context, you just pass it in like that, and you see, wow, she's bright like a diamond. Alright, so we have the dictionary passed in with a single key of name inside the render function. It's an argument which is returned. Alright, so we have this. Now for us to see that in this HTML page, you have to do this, put it in a double bracket since it is a variable. So I'll just go name, press S to save and refresh, and you have that. Cool. So you can, I'm just gonna split this so I can play around with it. So to do that, just click, hold, drag, and bring it down. So I could change the name to come on, my surname has to be there. Last name coming in, so I want So if I save that, refresh, woo, somebody's app just crashed. Alright. No, it didn't. Obviously my system doesn't like live streaming. Alright, so we have that there. So it's all small and all, but you can actually put it inside a HTML tag and it will be as big in all of its glory. So let's H1 it. Alright, so that's it. So you can have several other keys with data type inside of your dictionary, but you need to have a comma. So let's just call this number. Okay, number. I just go let's say height. Let's say height GHT, and just say 1. Save. Alright, so for you to see that, you can also put it in a H1 tag if you want, and you have to make sure that it's in double curly brackets. Then you go height. Unfortunately, we have no auto correction or autocomplete, so we have that one. So obviously my height is not 1, so 5.7, and save. What do I have ready? Why is it ready? Alright, cool. So I click refresh, app still crashes, hold it. Alright, so you can add a text immediately after, the templated word. You can just put feet or save, refresh, and you have that up and running. Alright, so what if I want to add like a list? Well, the syntax for list in templating is quite different from that of the it's quite different of that. Sorry, it's a little different from that of the string. So I'm just gonna use default values like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Save. Alright, so to get that working, this is what you're gonna do. You are going to treat it differently. So you put a curly brace with percentage, and you do Python style coding for I in number, and end that with what I just do. Alright, so end that with curly brackets, percentage, and you go and for so like this is a for loop, so it's gonna work. Alright, so to get I, you can treat, since each individual value inside of the array is like a variable, you can just do the double thingy, save. So I like this looking cute, so tap that, and see, we have it in all of its glory. Everything is showing, looking all nice and stuff. Okay, so let's try to build an application. So what we're gonna do now, we are going to explore this structure paradigm. We're going to create an application that sums up two numbers, and that number is gonna come back, return back to the user, and it's gonna be saved in a database by default. Sorry, so I'm just gonna drag this back here. So by default, Django comes with a SQLite database, and that's what we're gonna use at the moment. Alright, so first thing you have to do is you need to have a database model. I wish I had a presentation file for that, but I'm just going to do this the hard-coded way, and obviously the point is going to be gotten. Alright, so in the my apps, you go to model, and let's create one now. So we're going to do it as a class. I'm gonna call this calculation. So it accepts one parameter by one argument by default. Why do I keep calling that parameter? So you do this model code colon, and there are several data types that you are going to use for your database. Your database can accept string, it can accept boolean, it can accept virtually everything, datetime, but we are going to make use of floats. So I'm just gonna do value also. Just gonna do value 1. Alright, sorry, I'm just gonna do value underscore 1. Alright, so that's our first value. So we're just summing two numbers. That's all our app will do. And you go to models dots, so you can see we have a lot to play with. We have positive big integers, that means it's never going to go negative. So we have positive integer fields. Possibly it's not going to go way past 2 million, but really big and positive big is like when you're having, like if you like apps like Instagram, where you have notifications. What happens is that anytime someone likes your post, it's gonna be sent like a notification. So that table where all those data is stored, and gets sent push to you, it's like notification is like the biggest and the longest of tables, precisely with elements inside. Those things they call fields also. So basically it is the biggest. So models with elements like this could really help out. So we are also foreign keys. We're not going to be playing with that. It's a little advanced, but I'm just going to push to the floats. So float field. Okay, so it accepts several arguments. I don't know if this is a class or a function. I feel it's a function because of the camel casing. So I'm gonna pass null to be true. So basically it must accept values. So I'm gonna cv and make this 2. So we're gonna cv and make this the answer. So the next, I want it to store date and time for me, so I'm gonna use on create command on. Alright, come on. Let's see, I think I'm gonna name it created on. So like, will I say this like a character flaw? So I always like those naming conventions. So we have what is it called? Add. I'm just gonna check my cheat sheet. So I think it's like auto. I think it's like auto yes, alternate add 2. So this is it. So basically we're gonna have two text boxes. Come to Django, do the sum, and send it back. So it's gonna be in value 1, value 2. Then the answer to the sum of both of them is gonna be answer. Then this is gonna be created automatically. So there's something I just wanted you to do. Press the plus. It takes you to a new bash. We need to make sure that this model we have created goes into this SQLite database file. So this is the syntax. You're going to pass that as an argument via the command line, and this is what you're going to do. So you're just going to go Python manage.py make migrations. So basically what that's gonna do is, okay, no changes made. That's weird. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that and refer to my app. Press enter. Okay, so now here's the challenge. This my app needs to be registered in the project settings file. So that is why, because this manage.py is like deeply rooted to the project, and when we run that command, it's trying to find models that are available. And since that my app file is not registered inside of the project, it's having difficulties finding that those models. So this is what you do. You come to settings via your project file. You come here and add it. So you just go my app. So make sure that that is the name of your app, else you're gonna run into some issues. Alright, so save that, come back to your terminal, and see, we have our model created. Alright, now the next thing you need to do is to actually send it into the SQLite, because it has made those configuration and put it inside this migration folder. You can check it out. Oh, sorry, that's the constructor.py file. So inside here you have, alright, so inside here, this is where you have your ID. So like you see, that's why I love Python, precisely Django. So it automatically created that for us to auto increment, made that the primary key, and So moving on, it has those configurations inside this file, which is in the app. Now we need to move those configurations directly into the database, and this is the syntax for that. You go Python, if I spell correctly, Python 3, see, manage.py, I have migrate. Alright, let's move the immigrants. Alright, fantastic, and that's beautiful, makes me feel like a hugger. Alright, so now that we have everything all set up, let's go and build something in our HTML. So where were we? Alright, so I have my browser back. Alright, just tap this a little. So in my HTML, I'm going to take it out, save and refresh. Alright, so what I need right now is a text box. Okay, what I need right now is a text box, and to get the text box you just go input column text. Okay, I think I'll just do numbers. Alright, so this is a little more beginner friendly. Alright, so I'm just gonna call this value 1. Okay, so everything should be fine. Alright, formatting, you can just right click, format document, or use alternate, Ctrl F, save that, refresh. See, I have my cute ugly text box. Alright, so just gonna copy that and name this value 2. Okay, save that, refresh. Wow, so I need to give my user a hint, so I'm just gonna do this this way. So you select and use Ctrl B, and you could type in more than one places at the same time, placeholder. Alright, press enter, and I can be enter value 1. So I need to make that correction over here. Enter value 2. Enter value 2. Alright, save that. And next we need a button to sum. Alright, so this is what you do. You do input column slash submit. Okay, so this is gonna go from template, back. I'm sorry, from HTML file back, to the database and vice versa. So I'm just gonna call this add. Alright, so we're just gonna do additions and subtractions. And wow, isn't this the most ugliest sight of all time? Alright, so I'm gonna try to put this in a tag known as form. So I'm gonna set it to post, press enter, like that, go down, format it to look less ugly, and that should be it. Okay, alright, so if I refresh this and I click add, oh, I have an error. Okay, so this is what I was talking about initially. Like basically there's some lines of codes that are inserted inside here. I think that that is related to your session. Alright, so this is how you make this configuration. So it's basically trying to make sure that there is nothing like a cross-site request forgery mechanism, forgery of tokens. Basically what happens is that someone hijacks your section and makes you like impersonates you or something like that, or maybe someone can like gets how do I explain that? So basically what is happening here is that we are trying to stop users from impersonating your session. So that's what cross-site request forgery does, and I think that's Simon did that sometime ago and served some data. So basically he put some JavaScript files in a form, I think. Then what happened was that he submitted that to the database, and whoever accesses his page or something. But what I'm trying to say is that you could be able to track someone if you don't stop setting JavaScript files from coming to this form. So basically whatever is leaving this form is going into the server, and that's Django. Django shouldn't, be having malicious files that will be sent to other people and could exploit them of their resources, data. So to fix that 403 error, this is what you do. You just need to use the Django template style. That's cross site request forgery underscore token. Save that. So if I should submit, I see the error is no longer there. So ideally, you just click the add button and it sums it up and sends it back to these. Okay, now moving on. Whatever is inputted inside, whatever is inputted inside, like if I should enter alphabet, it's gonna tell me numbers only. So I think if I enter 1.0, see, it works. Let me try this one. 33.4. Select body nearest to, oh boy, I said 3.5. 5. Wow. 3.0. Okay, 3.1. Next 3.3, 3.1, 3.1. Alright. Crazy. I thought this could accept flute. Alright, so that could be fixed. We could change it to text, as the case may be, but we're gonna handle some exceptions and Python side of things. So in a later version we might possibly make this post submission and all JavaScript enabled, so that you could, so let's just make this text resend, so you can input whatever you want, but there will be no way to warn the user. So we're just trying to make a very friendly Django application here. Nothing serious per se. Alright. Alright, so the next thing is for us to trap that file inside of our view. So just need to close this and close that. We're not using that anymore. Alright, so let's clean this up real quick. We're returning nothing at the moment. So now this is what you want to do, because we're making a post request. You need to make sure that you have the mechanism here to trap if it's a post request. I could just, like get some, sorry, come on. So I could just, pretty much check the files that are coming in, like let's say value 1 for the first file. I'm going to, okay, so let me just print out. So this is what you can do. You say request dot, since it's a post, dot get, and bracket, we're gonna refer to the name of this file, which is value2. Alright, see that. So if I should put this in a print function and enter some random values here. If I check the console, I'm gonna find that value here. So if I just put like 2 and 3. Alright, so I'm gonna just do this for both TWO. make sure there's an underscore, okay? Very important. Alright, so I could just put like 30 and come here and be like 20. I'll find those values here. Cool. So the next thing for us to do is to make this variables so that we could play with them as we progress. So I'm just gonna call this value 1 and equal that change this to 2. Clean my codes up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to print out value 1 plus value 2. Okay, so I'm just going to put 3, just going to put 5, and I have 35. It's disappointing. Now what happens is that the value from the post is regarded as a string, so you need to do what they call data type casting, so that you can be able to have those values as numbers that you could do some arithmetic operation with. And a function known as float takes, I think, one argument, so you put that value that you want to cast. In my case, value 1, and I do the same for value 2. Make that a float. Save that, and let's try that out. While I wait for the app to load, I can put in some values here like 2 plus 2. Okay, anytime now. Alright, see, we have 4.0. That's beautiful. Alright, so let's see if I could return that value. So I could do like answer